Sometimes a psychic is the perfect one to talk to.
But I think Taylor is right in a lot of her answers. She has charm and wit. She also has the looks. She didn't talk about that, but she does. I think that she has the combination to go far in this game. But because of that combination, she's also going to grow her target in this game, possibly very early. So she might have to do some dodging and weaving in this game if she's going to make it far because of that. I think Kyle is the old kind of Big Brother archetype that gets far in a game, so he very well could do that. But if he's not self-aware, that could screw him in the end to either get voted out late or lose a jury vote. So we'll see what comes from this Kyle on a Big Brother franchise, and if he is another long line of Kyles being problematic on Big Brother shows. But there's just a lot of people like, say, Kyle, for instance, who the odds are he's going to rub me the wrong way. I feel like Kyle's going to be the person who's going to be the Kyle BB Can 10, and really, well, I guess Marty too, and want to say that all the black people are working together even if they're not this season because of the cookout last season. It's an easy excuse to make. That's the vibe Kyle gives me. But the more I watch from her, the more annoying she got. I think she can be very annoying. I mean, not to pick on her physical appearance, but she has crazy eyes. And that's kind of the energy she eventually gave in her video interviews, though, is that she is like, she has some Karen energy to her. I can possibly feel she's going to play that, the white tears victimhood if she can. Overall, I don't have a lot to say from Alyssa. However, I do think she is giving the type that gets far because she coasts into the jury. She's the type that either goes very late pre-jury, like right before the pre-jury, or she's able to coast her way because she's in some big alliance, or she's at the bottom of a big alliance, or she's in a showman's. She will coast her way into the jury. Now, as for the past 24 hours of feeds, if Kyle's racist actions didn't loom large over the game, the dynamics would actually be a hell of a lot more intriguing to me. Because, well, the feeds are fairly boring, I think, but the dynamics going forward are building up kind of interesting, I suppose. It's really going to come down to if it does turn out to be Kyle versus Michael. On both sides, we see a little bit of talk about it on both sides of the game right now. Kyle knows that he needs to get rid of Michael, but he seems to not want to do it just yet. He thinks he can continue to use Michael for another couple of rounds, it seems like to me. And he might be able to do that if Kyle or Alyssa win the next HOH, which is very possible. It's 2 out of 8, which is a 25% chance that it's actually 2 out of 6 because 2 people can't play. So there's a 33% chance that Kyle or Alyssa are the next HOH. And if that is the case, I wonder what Kyle would do in that situation, because he would obviously run Alyssa's HOH if Alyssa wins, whether it's him or Alyssa. If it is Kyle, though, he would have to get more blood on his hands against all of his past alliances, like he did this week, most likely, and he would just burn more jury votes. If Alyssa wins and Kyle runs her HOH, that might make him fare a little better. But I do wonder what his actions would be. I mean, obviously, he would go after Monty and Taylor and try and get one of them out. But if one of them were to come down, what would he do? Like, would he stay with his racism and put up Terrence, even though he just gave Terrence all of this info and that would just probably be a clusterfuck? Would he go after Turner because Turner wouldn't join his white power alliance? Would he... I've been thinking about what he would do, because it's like this for Michael and Kyle. Timing when they get each other out, if they get each other out, is going to be a key to this, because if they get the other out too soon, that can just make their shield go away and their target grow. Michael might fare better if they get rid of Kyle sooner rather than later, because Michael has this in with Taylor, and Michael can maybe use more people than Kyle can at this point, arguably. Because if Kyle were to target Michael, and say Michael were to go next, the showman's has to just be the obvious next target. But if Kyle goes, would Michael be the next target like he should be? He wins all of these challenges, but he doesn't seem to be anybody's initial target. He was Terrence's there for a while. They all seem to want to wait a little too late to target Michael, who's good at winning all of these comps. Monty's been having some good reads over the past 24 hours along with Michael. They've all kind of been building up that if Joseph goes home on the outside, then they know that they need to target the showmans Kyle and Alyssa. And Monty's having some good reads talking to Taylor today about Michael and Brittany trying to play the middle last week. I don't know if that will open Taylor's eyes to Michael and Brittany. I don't know why Taylor is so dead set on going to the final 3 with a duo that is an obvious duo, and that Michael would clearly take Brittany to the end before taking Taylor, so maybe Monty can continue to wake her up more. This week has been good for Monty and Taylor to spend more time together, because last week they didn't get to spend any time together. And Monty has some of the better reads in the leftovers. That isn't Brittany, I suppose, but Brittany hasn't been able to use her good reads worth a damn. Maybe Monty will be able to. But he has clocked Michael and Brittany playing the middle. And another thing that will be very interesting is if Michael or Kyle rat each other out about that alliance that was building the silent majority, or whatever you want to call it. Because if Kyle comes back into the game and that's his next thing to rat out, it's the silent majority, could that hurt Michael and Brittany's games? I think it's possible. It would definitely hurt their already poor social games. And Kyle has shown he's willing to throw anything under the bus for Alyssa going forward. If Kyle wasn't a racist virgin twat, he would be a villain who just does whatever it takes to win the game. He would be more of a savvy, savage player, but instead he decided to take that route, and he decides to put Alyssa's game before his own. I still contend that this move to desperately throw the leftovers under the bus to Terrence to save him and Alyssa one more week only helps Alyssa more than it helps him. Because Kyle is probably burning jury votes more and more here with the way he's been playing. There's just a total lack of finesse to anyone's game. I talked about yesterday how everybody's playing a bottom tier game, and their lack of finesse plays into this. I haven't talked about Michael being the one sympathy vote for Indy to maybe, and only maybe, get her jury vote, because this is Indy we're talking about, somebody who hasn't gave a single fuck about the game. So maybe Mike going out of his way to obviously be the one pity vote for Indy, maybe it gained Indy as a vote in the end, but it could have lost Joseph as a vote in the end. So he might have just gained one but lost one, and it's a maybe gained one. Because there's just a lack of finesse to Michael's game because he has no social game. Terrence also has that lack of finesse. I saw people talk about Terrence's game in the comments. He gets so overly confident when he gets just a little bit of info and he thinks he's in the know and he knows what's going on, and now he really thinks he's in the know, so he's really going to get an ego and probably play this poorly, even though he has all of this info to at least build up his game for the next 2 weeks. But like a lot of people in the comments, I have a hard time seeing Terrence be able to do that because he too lacks finesse in this game to maneuver. I will say I do think Taylor's chances of winning actually have gotten a lot higher over the past week and a half. Now, Taylor's going to have a hard time making the end, but an argument a lot of us have made is that if Taylor were to make the end, would she really get enough jury votes to win, because so many of these people haven't liked her for stupid reasons mostly throughout this entire game. But reading and watching some of Indy's exit interviews, she has had the most change of heart about Taylor. And sure, when the leftovers and it becomes a talking point in the jury, maybe that can turn Indy against Taylor again. I kind of have a hard time seeing that happen, though, because this is Indy we're talking about. And if the way things are going this week and Joseph and Jasmine are the two players voted to the jury, it's going to be Joseph, Jasmine, and Indy. And guess who's going to run that jury from the beginning? Joseph. So Taylor's shot at winning if she makes the end is actually rising. But the dynamics for next week, it could be a big week. It really comes down to who wins HOH. If Kyle wins HOH or Alyssa, you bet your ass Michael and Brittany are going to go right back to that little racist alliance thing and try and play that middle again to make sure their asses are safe. But like I said, who does Kyle target in that scenario? Because if he gets out, I mean, he's clearly going to target Monty or Taylor. But if one gets down and he puts up Terrence, he screws himself. Because that's going to be, Terrence is going to rat him out in that case. And then Kyle just probably goes home the very next week. Or Kyle or Alyssa go home the very next week. And his luck or his production protecting him finally runs out at that point. I genuinely think Kyle should target Brittany, though. That's what I've been thinking this whole time. He brought up a good point that if they eventually take out Michael and leave Brittany alone, it makes the game easier for them, and that's true. But if he's not going to take that shot at Michael next week, if he or Alyssa win HOH, you take that shot at Brittany because then Michael is this bigger target in front of you, and Michael is weakened, and Michael might need you a little more. I think Kyle is ridiculous enough to do that, but we'll see. All right, that's all for now. I'll probably be back on Monday.